Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Greenville, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Greenville, Texas. On every episode, Dennisha Denney will share Greenville's story through the stories of people who call Greenville home. This is Heart of Greenville.
Thank you so much for watching Heart of Greenville. I asked Jeff Jones to come on the show because I wanted you to meet a hometown guy and hear his story about how he started here, moved away from here, and came back. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Jeff Jones. Hey y'all, I'm Dennisha Denney, your host of Heart of Greenville. Today we are sitting downtown Greenville, Texas at the landmark on Lee Street on the third floor called The Landing. And boy, was that a mouthful. Our guest today is Mr. Jeff Jones. How are you today, Jeff?
I'd have to make it up to complain about it. Doing good.
Well, are you excited about this? Are you nervous?
I am. The Landing, of all places, on the third floor.
Yes. Have you ever been to the third floor of The Landing?
I don't think I ever have. It feels kind of ghostly up here, like there's some Squatch stories I should know about. I'm not sure.
There are some really cool tunnels here. I got to
Okay.
see those. So The Landing is a really cool place. It's like a workspace where you can just come and pop in and you can work, bring your laptop and hook up to the Wi-Fi
Got
and
it.
work from here. There's a conference room. It's one of those workspace that you could just come and sit down and have some peace and quiet, you know.
I'm glad they're putting this building to use. It's amazing.
It really is. And, you know, the Rotary Club meets here, and then they also use the second floor for, like, different events, like
I remember
weddings.
some
and-
weddings.
Yes.
I remember being a few weddings.
Yes. You know, and you brought up the haunted landmark in the basement.
I did.
Have you been down there? Did you go
I
to
actually
that?
did. I took a class from Commerce, some college kids, and they weren't too familiar. They're mostly Samoan, and they didn't know a whole lot about this haunted house and Halloween and how the U.S. celebrates it. And I said, you're going to love this. And Samoan people, they eat a lot.
Right.
They're really influent in far as religion and gospel hour, but I wanted to take them down another direction. So I did have them all come in, and I said, look, supper's on me if you can just make it through the haunted house.
Did they make it through?
They did. There were a lot of sweat, a lot of panic involved, and it was interesting.
Well, you brought culture to them.
I did. The Chinese buffet was the win point for those. I had to sell, and the rest sold itself. So
Well, I know the Rotary Club really appreciates you doing that and
Oh, yeah.
contributing. That was our largest fundraiser, actually, for our Rotary Club. And then we use those funds to give them back to the community. But we're not able to do it right now with some of the new restrictions and everything.
a lot of Samoans.
We're going to be bringing that back. So, well, Jeff, I want to talk about your story.
Okay.
I've known you for a long time. I was trying to think, how long have I known you? And it's been a while. But
20 plus years.
when I bought Mary Kay Property Management, you
Next
and I
door.
became neighbors
Yes.
because our office was located next to one another. And so that's when I really got to know you. I just want to say thank you for being a good neighbor.
I do what I can. Sometimes it's smoke and mirrors, but I'll do what I can.
You pull it off. Well, Jeff, I want people to get to know you.
Okay.
So tell us about yourself. Did you grow up here? Tell us what it looked like to live in the Jones family. What was Pops like? I know you were close to your Pops, and I want to hear about that.
I was. Pop, Mom, I'm as far as family, I was close to a lot of my big brother, big sister. But a little twist here. So I was actually born here. Folks got a divorce early age, and I actually wound up in Roswell, New Mexico, of all places.
Really?
And let me just say, it is the home of the UFOs. A lot to explain there. But it is the land of enchantment. It will make you appreciate Greenville. It'll make you appreciate West Texas because there's absolutely nothing out there but tumbleweeds and roadrunners. So growing up there, Dad bought me a dirt bike, and he didn't really know a whole lot about the area. It was a change.
So how old were you when you moved out there?
I was probably about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay, so your parents divorced and then you moved out there.
They did. And my other two siblings grew up here on actually Sell Street. They rented a home from a lady by the name of Miss Loves, Sell and Mitchell, and she took them in and raised them as her own. She was an amazing lady.
That's awesome. So, okay, tell me this. Where are you in the birth order?
I'm the youngest one.
You're the baby.
I am the baby.
Oh, the baby. So when you moved out
I
there,
am the loose cannon.
well, did you move out there with your mom or your dad?
Both of them. Mom moved out there because that's where she was raised.
Okay.
So not a whole lot about Roswell, but we spent a lot of time in Rio Dosa, which was beautiful.
Yes.
I didn't know much about the horse track until one day it clicked.
Oh, no.
At 9, 10 years old, you start to figure this stuff out pretty quick.
Did you sneak in? How did you find out
I
about
think they
this?
let you in. I don't think there was an age limit. It's New Mexico.
Well, this is true. Did you start betting at 9 and 10?
I would give him the bet to Dad. He would laugh at me and say, yeah, this will never hit. And once in a while it would hit. So I bought lunch, whatever it took,
How fun.
to get back over there again.
So how old were you when you moved back to Greenville?
So I was one of the first back in 82 to move here at the new high school. The high school was built in the summer of 82. So I was the first class to go all 4 years at the new high school. So I actually graduated in 86.
That's awesome.
It
So
was-
you're an alumni of
Yeah.
GHS.
Of course.
That's awesome.
So it was of course, Keith Smith, Philip Phelps, Cliff Jones, Tony Norman. We were all part of a little crew there.
I did not know that.
They're still around here.
Right.
We just I won't say we've fallen apart, but we've gone our own separate lives.
Right. But there was something there because you guys have all grown up and, you give back to the community. You have your businesses and.
Oh yeah, Dad started the insurance business way out there in New Mexico because there's literally nothing else to do out there besides sell cars and some sort of I guess insurance or real estate would be next on the list. And so he came back here, got offered his job at E-Systems. That's when I went through school, went through all doing my thing as well. And then I decided, hey, the insurance is not really for me. You're going out of your way to please these people, and it's heartbreaking at best. So I said, let me just leave this and eventually get a job out at E-Systems. I did. I got a job out there in 90. Same year I got married. I told my dad.
That's a big year.
Yeah, I told my dad when he got into the insurance business, I said, hey, this is it for me. I'm burning this bridge. I won't be coming back. And he just looked at me and said, yeah, you're coming back. And I said, no, see that bridge? It's on fire. So I went out there, and for about 5 years, this was back when George Bush Sr. was president. The Cold War out in the Middle East slowed down, and supervisor at the time, nickname was Bluebell. We called him. He said, Tom Sadler, he said, hey, Jeff, you said airplane leaving? You might want to go make peace with your dad because you're about to get laid off. 2 weeks in maintenance, and then so that was a big layoff back in '95.
Wow. How many people were laid off back then? Do you remember?
Well, I was hourly, so it was like 900 people.
Wow.
Yeah, in the hourly group.
Wow.
So
how old were you when that happened then?
Let's see, 90, 95. Ooh, don't quote me on that one. I was definitely in my 20s.
In your 20s?
Yeah, just had my kids.
So how did you handle that? I mean, you're in your early 20s, you're married, you have your kids now, and then you're
going
getting
to
laid
school
off.
over Commerce. Got laid off. So what really dawned on me, and I was walking out the gate with one of my buds, Clay Cunningham, and I said, Clay, what's your game plan for being laid off out here? And he said, Jeff, that's easy. I'm going to take the poor man's vacation. I'm just going to go collect unemployment, and they'll call me back 6 months, a year down the road. And eventually they did. I didn't want to go that route because I didn't want to ever be laid off in my life again. That was something to be appreciated. I will never take it for granted for working out there. It's a great place. But I want to have some more value to myself at least.
Right.
I sacrifice birthdays and anniversaries just for overtime to get projects done on their time. And I eventually said, hey, Dad, can I have my job back? And he said, I knew you'd be back. I said,
the prodigal son.
Well, bad habit, of course. So that's pretty much, and I think we were just talking, what's really ironic is Dad's got several brothers. He's got 9 in his family, mostly raised in Glen Rose, Texas. But so from here on, so one of his younger brothers is a Dallas police officer, a homicide detective. His son took his place as being a detective.
Oh.
One's a realtor there in Glen Rose. Mm-hmm. His youngest son took his place. And so I didn't know at the time, but here's Jeffrey taking Pop's place there. So
when you got laid off, did you immediately know, okay, I need to go back to Dad and I need to get into insurance, or did you consider some other things to do?
I really didn't. I really didn't realize how much I enjoyed helping others in their adventures of buying a new home, buying a new car, raising a family, their situations. It's all compounded with how to get them from point A to point B, make them feel more secure about their life. So I knew that, it was either going to be insurance or something that's more of a service to individuals. I didn't have a clue. And eventually I caught on to what was best for the individual. from that point on, I did not really give much to the big corporations. From when they laid me off, I said, I'm done with the big corporations. I'm done babysitting you and catering to your needs. I just let me work for the little guy.
You know, you have all my insurance. And I'm always calling you and like, can we do this? Can we do this? And you do give me that peace of mind. I can pick up the phone and call you and say, you know, just like us opening the new office in Farmersville, and you know, I'm like, okay, Jeff, we're taking another adventure. What do I need? And you just handle it, and then you just show up at my office and we sign papers and I give you a check, and I know I'm taken care of.
You make it too easy.
Well, I say the same about you, but you do bring that peace of mind to insurance.
Absolutely.
And insurance is not a fun thing.
It's not, and it's one thing that people, for the most part, try to understand, and it's always changing.
Right.
And it's a game of big numbers. It's a game of big corporations. Like this last year, for example, most insurance companies, because of Corona, had a record-breaking year, while other companies filed for bankruptcy.
Right.
And I'm like, how does this math work? So I don't really have a little sincere feeling for the insurance company. I'm here for the little guy.
Right. No, you are. You're always shopping the rates and making sure we have the best rates, especially when it's time to renew. And so I always appreciate that.
It's heartbreaking that people have a loss or that they have hail damage. Hail damage is probably the most comparable part of being in Hunt County. There's a lot of hail damage in Hunt County. But
it held just this week.
People come in and they're like, what do I do? And I said, well, relax. You know, you bought this policy. Let's put it to work. And when they get a new roof, we'll put it with a different company, get the new roof discount. And it's kind of a win-win-win. But you don't really realize that because you're actually seeing someone tear up your roof, putting on a new roof. So they're like biting their fingernails, saying, is this really going to work? Yeah, exactly. It's really going to work.
So when you came into the business back in the 90s with your dad, what did he put you to work doing?
You know, basic, making coffee.
That's where you started.
Vacuum
Got to
cleaner.
start at the bottom.
Yeah, and filing. And back then there were the green screens. I think Bank of America still uses the green screens. But, you know, there was no color. So you point, click, and birthday would come up. Say, hey, remind them they got a birthday coming up. I'm not sure that's what they want to hear, but okay.
How fun. So you kind of did that management behind the scenes
I
then?
did. I enjoyed it. I really did. I still do. Still do. Now my sister's involved in it as well. She is the boss. I'm the peon. There's 2 or 3 of us up there, and so if you ever want to call and ask for the peon, you got this guy right here.
You're the man.
All right, well,
what's it like to work with your sister? When did she come into the business?
She came in right around 95, 98,
Okay.
somewhere in the last few years before the turn of the century. She and a few others keep me in check. They're like, Jeff, we can't do this. And I'm like, can we try it from this angle? Can we do this? And Jeff, you're not listening to the words that are coming out.
You're the creative, and then they have to help figure out how to make that happen.
Bring it back down to reality for me. So, yeah, it's a challenge. I've enjoyed it. I've watched my kids grow up in that atmosphere, and I've enjoyed giving them a safe environment, a good school. They started out at Greenville, and then for really appreciation, they wound up at Bose.
Oh, really?
And Bose is a school, let me just say that, wow. If you thought you were underappreciated, undervalued, check out those kids over there. They are really from broken homes, fill in the blank, and my heart goes out to them. It was like one Friday, son came in and goes, hey, I'm going to invite Josh over here. And I said, that's cool. Let him spend the night and hang out with us. And he goes, Josh, what are you doing this weekend? He goes, well, I'm staying at the home, and we're just going to huddle up around the TV, throw the football. And he goes, well, we need permission to get you over here. And it took an act of Congress to get him to just doing the paperwork and so forth. And I don't blame them. They need to check us out as well to see who we're about. So, you know, for Christmas, the Bowles kids got great stuff, but it just wasn't mom and dad atmosphere. It was a good atmosphere, Dr. Swinney. I don't want to take anything away from you. It was a really good atmosphere. It's the best that you can offer from what the state has.
Absolutely.
With room for improvement, but you know, it's very important to grow up in a stable environment. So I see that a lot. So.
Did you become that? Did your family become that for Josh and?
Well, we helped a lot of kids.
Other kids?
Yeah, we helped a lot of kids we influenced them. We go for their dreams. And one thing about these kids is they've got college paid for. So when I looked at the stats, only like 95% do not go for that college. When they're out at Bose or whatever school they're in, they leave.
Really?
They don't take advantage of that. So I'm like, how do I get them to take advantage of that? And I definitely understand. You're right out of school. You're done with school.
Right.
I mean, I went over there to Commerce, and long story short, it took a while for me. But I knew if I quit, I would never go back. So
I know that's enough to keep you holding on, even if
That
it's
is.
just one class that semester, just to keep you holding on.
It
Because
really
once
is.
you let go, it's super hard to go back. So, what prompted your children to go to bowls?
Well, just I had a sister-in-law that teaches over there in math, and I knew Patrick Macy needed a better foundation for math, and yeah, they got it. They definitely got the math skills. In fact, after Pat graduated from college, from Commerce, he went on to, he moved off to Colorado.
Did he?
He did.
So, and then what happened? What'd your daughter do?
Daughter moved off to over there by Grapevine, and I don't know how she found this job, but she's actually finding a pension company that pays for her pension as well. Where can you ever find?
Where is that today?
I know. These oil and pipeline companies that still exist, they really go through them for their pension, and they finance. They get a check for life, and I'm like, how do I get? Don't forget. I just asked her to put her dad in a good old folks
Right.
home when it comes time to grabbing the shovel.
I was going to say, Jeff, I think you just have to sell a few more policies.
I think I'm going to be for a while. Someone asked me, you ever going to retire? And I said, ooh, and stay home with all the honeydews? You know, this COVID thing, really, we could have went home and worked, but with what's going on, if I went home and worked, there's just so much to do at the house that I don't want to.
You don't want to do that? Okay, we're recording, right?
Got
And
it.
your wife's probably going to hear this.
Can we keep it on the down low?
Okay, we'll try. Good luck with this.
She's got me a list. I'm still trying. Oh, Lord, I'm still trying.
Oh, tell us about her. How did y'all meet?
Chris is amazing. We met out of high school, Highland Terrace. I wasn't so much as a church-going guy back then as I am now, with room for improvement. But her family is the Reed's family. So when we first got married, her dad is like super artificial intelligence.
Oh.
I could tell him a joke, and he'd say, I'm not getting you. I'd ask him what time it was, and he goes, you need to build your own watch.
Oh, my.
So it was a tough relationship as far as trying to figure out who's who. And when I went and asked him for Chris's hand in marriage, he says, insurance? Really? Insurance? You could do so much better.
He really said this to you?
Well, not
In no so many words.
Not
but,
so many words.
But that's how you felt.
He could literally probably tell me exactly what he said. He goes, oh, no, I got the time and date when we said it. I've got it in the memory banks here. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, did he did he give his blessing, or did you have to elope?
Absolutely. Well, that's a great question, but no, we got the blessing. So her family is really huge. I thought my family was somewhat big. Her family, it's like the Brady Bunch: his, hers, and they're adopted.
Oh.
So Jimmy Vaughn, Leanne Copeland, Bubba Copeland that runs Juice over there. He's got a huge family.
Wow.
So at Christmas.
So these are all her siblings?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a big family. So at Christmas time, we're kind of like shaking our heads. Like one year, this was pretty neat. One year, so one of Dad's father-in-law's companies sold out, and so that was a few years ago. But he bought us all of us iPods and Apple products, and it was like, wow! It was a whole room full of Apple stuff, and I'm like, this is really unusual. But wait a minute, there's people there I've never seen before. What's their story?
So you had to go and meet them.
Yeah, they came out of the woodwork.
Oh, that's funny. Because they heard there were going to be Apple
Oh, yeah.
products at the party.
Yeah, they did. They came out of the woodwork. But yeah, Pop is still around. I'm still trying to crack Pop on some of his insights. He's been to Israel several times. He actually took us to Israel in 2019.
Oh, tell me about that. What is
Israel,
it like?
you know what? Before all this politics and so forth, it's still amazing. You really appreciate your freedom here. But where we stayed out there was right at the front gates of Jerusalem. It's you got the Muslims over here, you've got the Hebrew Jews over here, you got the Christians, and they all just get along.
Oh.
And for being such an old town, it's very updated. They've got the solar energy. They've got electric cars. They've got electric subways, and there's cameras everywhere. Everywhere.
Cameras like that are recording?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Like for security?
For every reason.
For any reason ever?
Yeah. It's so.
Did you feel safe over there?
I felt very much safe.
Okay.
Very much, actually more safe there than I do here, knowing the circumstances over there.
True.
You don't know what's going on in your back door over here. Over there, they're locked and loaded.
Wow.
When you get out of high school, you automatically have to do 2 years of military.
Really?
So you see males and females carrying guns, and they'll talk to you, but they're not one for chit chat.
Oh, I bet not. They have a job to do.
Oh yeah, they're carrying that M16. They're all business, so it's a little bit intimidating.
That creates such discipline, though.
Oh
that
yes.
Having to go into the military for 2
So
years.
so when that last Wonder Woman movie came out, and I looked at the main character on there, and I thought, yeah, I know where she's from, and I know her background, and yeah, that's legit.
That is.
She did her own stunts. I'm quite sure.
Wow.
But being baptized in the Jordan River, that was something that's
Did you
special.
do that?
I did. It was cold in
Oh.
February. It was freezing cold, but I had to take one for the team.
Absolutely.
There were several of us that got baptized in Jordan River.
Did you just decide that while you were there,
No,
or did you know ahead of time you
I knew
wanted to
ahead
do
of time.
that?
I knew ahead of time.
That is really special to get to have that
And
experience.
then the Dead Sea was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's all salt water. You float. There's nothing that lives there. It actually, though, it's starting to come less and less water. And so Samaria, let's say some of the towns that are buried in the Dead Sea are coming up.
Really?
Yeah, so divers are able to get a better view of what's going on. And they actually, kind of a little history over there. I didn't know. I was clueless about Israel, but they actually found some scrolls back in 1945 that had been there for thousands of years that were still in somewhat mint condition. And they had them on display. And I
Yes.
thought, this is just 1945. I'm like, well, that's before I was born, but
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
I actually got to see those in New
Oh,
York
did you?
City when they were on display.
Yeah?
Yes, it was really cool to get to see that.
I'm not sure what they say. Maybe talk about the weather. I don't.
There's no telling, but to be able to find something like that is really cool.
It is.
That is a really neat experience to get to go to Israel. That's on my bucket list for
You
someday
should.
to be able
You
to go
should. And in fact,
experience
there's
that.
not a whole lot of traveling while you're in Israel. Israel is about the size of Rhode Island. So you can be from one side to the other in half a day, full day.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we got to hang out at Bethlehem. That was nice.
That's so neat.
It's different, though. You got walls and so forth that you have to go through to get one place to another.
So how did it feel to be there? When you came back home, did you have some emotions that you went through getting to experience all of that and then coming back to America?
I did. It was a lot to take in. As far as religion, yeah, it's a real place. As far as the history of it, they're still finding out what all's taking place. The produce over there is amazing. They can grow produce that, over here you look at the supermarkets and you're like, I can live with it. You can't live without that produce over there. It's huge.
Do you crave it? Do you find your craving?
I do. I actually got it on the plane, but I knew I wasn't going to make it back to New York, so I dumped it out. It didn't make it home.
It did make it home.
It did not make it
There's
home.
a box, Jeff, you have to check that you're not bringing
I
fruits
do.
and vegetables
I do.
over.
I do. We did bring back some Jordan water.
Oh, that's cool. What does Jordan water taste like?
It's pretty dirty.
Oh,
So-
oh, you don't drink it?
I don't.
Okay.
It looked like a creek to me. So
Okay, yeah, never mind. Don't taste that.
for those that want a little sprinkle, I guess.
But that's cool. So that commemorates your baptism,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
that's really
I really enjoyed it. It's a lifetime. Highly recommend it. If you need a tour guide, just shout.
okay.
Because
You're ready to go back, right?
I am-
You'll take us on the tour.
I will definitely take you on a tour. The hotel where to stay at. It was just within miles of everything else we had to go to.
That's awesome. Well, let's bring it back home. So the show is called Heart of Greenville, and this is where I like to talk about what you love about Greenville. So with you being from here and you moved away and came back, tell me, Jeff, what do you love about Greenville?
I enjoy watching the people grow up. The people that are older than me are now seniors, and how they matured. It's really just an adventure along the way. I used to always complain about how small Greenville was, but coming out of Roswell, from West Texas, this is paradise. This is an amazing town. And now I hear people say, I won't go to Rockwell because there's too much traffic. I used to laugh about that, and then I said, well, they got a point. Whatever I need, I'll just buy from Amazon or go online and figure out what I want. But yeah, I really enjoy. I've got strong relationships. I've got a good working relationship with a preacher that hopefully will have some good words to say when it comes time to my funeral. I don't know.
Have you been working on your list for him so
No,
he
I
knows
haven't.
what to say?
I have not. He's just Jimmy Vaughn. You're just going to have to figure that out on your own. But we did go to, to top off 2020, to top it off, I did a first and he did a first. he did a funeral for me that I'd asked him to. One of the friends of ours has passed on, not from Corona, in a little community outside of Celeste called Hog Eye.
Oh, yes.
So,
I know where that is.
wow, everybody knows where this place is
Yeah.
at. I've never been there. So 2020, New Year's Eve, we went to the funeral. He gave the funeral. He goes, Jeff, that was a first for me because normally I'll do a wedding. I've never done a funeral right at New Year's Eve. So I said, well, first time for everybody. The second first on that adventure was, before the funeral was done, there was an older guy just eating away at all the stuff that was brought in. And I thought, hold on, Speed Racer. Can we at least finish?
Finish the service.
Yeah, before you dive in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Did
you go tell him about it, Jeff?
I did.
Okay.
I was nice and polite because, being from here, he probably knows someone that knows me, and now I really have to hold my tongue.
That's smart.
How often do you want to yell at somebody in a grocery store, Aldi's not wearing a mask, and you just want to rip them apart? But unfortunately, that may be the person, mom, who is about to buy a house from you. So you have to hold your tongue and just make peace with it and say,
yeah.
Keep it over there.
I have learned you just have to do you. And that's
You
what
just
you
have to do you, yeah.
Just focus on what you need to do and go from there and love everybody. And
So one of the things, when Pat moved off to Colorado, I gave him one of the cars that I had, an HHR, loved it. It did the mountains and so forth fine, but he goes, he brought it back and he said, well, it needs maintenance. It needs belts, brakes, spark plugs, air filter, and on and on. He looked at me and he goes, well, I'm going to buy a Tesla. And I thought, well, that's not such a bad idea from him. That's where this goes for Mr. Little Rocket Science boy.
uh-huh.
He looked at the prices and said, no,
No.
not going to happen. I went on to Carvana. I've never bought a car online. And that particular car, if you know what you want and the color and interior and on and on and on, you will have to buy that one online. And I actually got a Tesla.
That is so cool. I actually got to take a look at it.
Yeah.
I still haven't been for my ride yet, Jeff. We need to go for a ride.
It is fun to just go down Wesley with no hands.
That still scares me to death.
I'll tell you what scares me now. When you go down FM 2101 at 80 miles an hour, are there anybody watching that write a ticket, they will, it drives itself and it will hug those curves. So
Ooh.
I have pushed the envelope a little bit.
How fast does it go around those curves on 2101? Those are some serious curves.
It will slow down itself.
Oh, my goodness.
It's got
Okay.
the technology what really fascinates me about it is it's a 2016, it's a Model S, but what really fascinates me about it is that it knows the ditches. So like if there's it car sits low.
Right.
So if it knows a low spot, it's going to raise up 6 inches.
That's impressive.
It is.
So are you happy you made that purchase?
I'm very happy. Tesla came out with the S, came out with the E, came out with the X, and then the Y. Sexy. They lost the Model E and had to call it the Model 3 because Ford already had the Model E. So,
Okay.
So that's where Tesla. So I have to change my thought process on Tesla. I first thought, well, this car is going to be around for a while until the rest of the companies catch up with it. And I thought, well, this will probably be the Harley Davidson of cars in about 10 years. Mm-hmm. But this last weekend, Elon Musk out of South Texas launches SpaceX, a rocket, with 146 satellites. It must be real small satellites. I don't know.
Whoa.
And I'm like, well, this guy is for real as far as technology. So I'm looking forward to the next round.
That's fun. You'll have to keep us posted on that.
I will. It's, anything Elon Musk you can see off of YouTube or internet and make for your own, whether it's real or not.
Yes, he's definitely a genius. I think he's going to be our genius from our generation, this series.
I think he will.
Time.
He named his kid some sort of letters and numbers.
That's so interesting.
I'm not sure what they are. I don't know what they stand for. I have to do a little more homework on that. But
Well, this is a great transition to what your final question is. And we talked about this before. I said, okay, Jeff, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 20, and you picked 7, and I said no, because
you did.
A lot of people pick 7, so I'm going to come up with like 7A, 7B, 7C
All right, bring it
to
on.
mix it up. But I'm going to let you answer 2 questions. I'm going to let you answer my traditional question too. But first, you're going to answer number 7 you picked. So here's your question, Jeff. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, give me some time on this one.
Well, see, but we were talking about Elon Musk and we were talking about his technology. And so I'm like, superpower, that actually ties in. Like,
I would
What
definitely
kind
have
of
to say, and
superpower?
this may not be the comic strip superpower, it would be patience.
Really?
Patience for the kids, patience for the family, patience for what all has gone on with the COVID situation. I'm not seeing an end in sight for now. Went and had the vaccine.
Oh, you did?
Both shots. And now I'm hearing there's a third vaccine that may have to come around. So I'm not so sure I would jump out and go get the vaccine now. I just did it only because I got called to do it. And that I realized that the doctors and the nurses and the EMTs, the fire, they all took the disease. So I said, well, let's go down together. That is my only theory. But with another round coming out, I'm on the fence now and I can't take it away. So patience.
Patience.
A lot of patience for what goes on around here.
You know, what's funny about that is I actually view you as a very patient person. And so that's interesting. So
Smoke
on
and
the
mirrors.
inside, you must just be dying.
Smoke and mirrors.
But you do like to get things done. That is one thing
I
about
do.
you. You don't linger. Like if there's something to do, we just do it. You just
Wrap
take
it
care
up.
of it. So patience. Okay.
Patience. That would be a superpower if there were any.
There you go. I love it. Okay, but you said my traditional question that I originally started asking that you had a great answer for it. So I'm
Wait
going
a
to
minute.
ask
It's been
it
about
for
20
you.
minutes, so this mine.
Well, let's see what comes to mind when I ask
Okay.
it to you. Okay, so let's talk about it. And now I just lost that last question. I was like, wait a minute, what was
I
my last
understand.
question?
I
Oh,
get
here
it.
it is. Here
I
it
get
is.
it. I
Okay.
understand.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given, and how have you applied it?
Wow.
So remember, you said you had a great answer.
Yeah,
for
that
it.
answer's done gone.
So it's like me.
It's on channel 3 now. It's on channel 3.
Okay, well, let's think. Okay, let's back up.
I got
Forget
you.
whatever
I got
the
you.
answer was.
I got you.
Okay.
This is probably not the same answer I was going to give earlier, but never burn a bridge. Never burn a bridge.
Yes, that's
I
a
don't
great
care
piece.
if it's company A, B, or C, or karma will get you in the end. So whether it's opening up a door or just holding your tongue because someone's doing something that's not so cordial, never burn a bridge.
Never burn a
Work
bridge.
with it in a way that if they don't understand, everybody else around you understands the point that you're trying to make, and then let it go.
That's great advice. It really is. And you can speak to that firmly because
I
you
can.
did burn
I
a bridge,
can.
but then you had to rebuild the bridge.
Oh,
So
that bridge is, well, I don't know. Love Father, but he'd probably say, let's keep it going. This hitting the Golden Gate. Let's go.
Right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for saying yes and coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I've
Thanks for having
enjoyed
me.
our time together, and so it's always a pleasure. And thank you for what you do. And you know what? Thank you for what you did for those kids at Bowles Home.
Of course.
That says a lot about your heart and who you are, in addition to all the great things that you do. So
More to come. I'm sure we'll have to tackle it on with the team. We'll have to just do it together.
sounds good. Thank you, Jeff.
Carry on.
Thank you for watching Heart of Greenville. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Greenville, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.